Hi, and welcome to episode 1 of Broker Tools. This is where we are going to unpack the tools, systems, and strategies that help brokers optimize the way they work. I'm Katey, your host, and the video podcast you're about to watch or listen to is a starter conversation between myself and Mitch from MBJ Tech. For a bit of context, the idea of broker tools has been brewing in my head for a little over a year. The deeper I went into the world of CRM design for mortgage brokers, asset and commercial brokers, I realized there wasn't one central place that could help brokers make a strategic business growth decision with their tools and systems. So this is, I guess, a behind the scenes conversation I had with Mitch to get this idea going. It was never meant to be a podcast, but ultimately seeded the idea of having one. So it's a base plate for further conversations to come and what you will see in the next couple of episodes. So it's practical and not overproduced. And if you've ever wanted to know where to start in your tech stack, systems and processes, this is pretty much a cool conversation to start with, because I figure if you can get behind your tech and understand what it does for you, especially in cybersecurity side of things, you can build a lot of peace of mind. And that's where we want to start. How do you build the structures of peace of mind throughout the business so that you can optimize the way you grow? I hope you enjoy the episode. Please let us know any of your feedback.
The very first one would just be like literally the importance of cybersecurity for small and medium businesses. That is like the number one thing, like literally just awareness of the risk and prioritizing it close to the top of the list. We had a client this week, someone that you know, who had, I think there was an email that was quarantined in by the spam filter, and like their immediate reaction was to ask like, "Can you go and turn the spam filter off because we can't have emails quarantined?" I'm like, I have to explain to them like, no, like we'll help you work out what the problem is and work through it, but like, no, that isn't the solution. Like just turning it off and exposing yourself to the entire world is not the solution. So the importance of cybersecurity and the concept of starting in the most secure position possible and working backwards from there, not the other way around. So cybersecurity is important and sometimes causes minor inconvenience, but start at the most secure and most inconvenient end of the scale and move backwards from there. Most inconvenient end of the scale and move backwards from there. That's probably the one big thing, or the first big thing. The second big thing I would say is that for anyone using Microsoft 365, and I would argue that any broker should be, Microsoft 365 Business Standard or Business Basic don't have all the stuff you need to be secure. So,
okay.
When I'm saying all this, also, I don't want to make it all about security because it's not just about security. There's heaps of stuff in there that like makes your life easier too.
Well, I think this is where we talk about it in layers and topics, because I'm really good at crafting it from what I call the human perspective. Because, so we can actually make this conversation about security, but then we just push it
That's
through.
Exactly right. So can I share my screen?
Go for it.
So this is the presentation that I've done. I've shown you in the past, I think. Oh yeah, you can see that. Cool. So this is the presentation that you've seen. This is like for someone that has no clue what they need and what they should be doing, this is like the intro 101. So basically what we do, and I've sent you a copy of this in the past, but I can send you another one. We talk about cyber crime and who it affects and how and all of that. we talk about the essential 8, so how you can counter against cybersecurity threats. But then we go, on top of all of those security benefits, here's all the ways that like it improves your business as well. So, we don't just care about being secure. We want technology to make your life easier as well. And here are all the things that come along with that. If you are on the proper licensing and have everything set up properly. So yeah, number one, awareness of cybersecurity, acceptance that sometimes being secure is inconvenient. Number two, Microsoft 365 Business Premium should be the bare minimum for any broker who wants to take both security seriously, but wants the most value for money from their licenses as well.
Cool. I'm not sure if this is the conversation we should be having, or we should just schedule a time to kind of do deeper dives. But some of the things I think I have found is, what does this mean? Because people go, yeah, but
yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. So look, I think I'm generally pretty good at explaining things in layman's terms to people. So if there are concepts like that you're having trouble explaining to people who don't understand, let me know, because I can probably help with that. But actually, let me just share again. Sorry, I just turned it off, but this screen is probably useful. So again, like in this presentation that I've done in the past, here basically, rather than use the Microsoft names for all the components of the Business Premium suite, I'm just explaining all of the things that it does. So, rather than talk about Microsoft Entra Identity Defender or whatever, I'm going, well, we're going to allow your staff to securely access their business apps from any place with multi-factor authentication, explaining that in ways that a person who is not an IT person can understand. That's probably the best explanation of what I'm talking about. But yeah, you're completely right. Like all this stuff, we've got to find a way to explain it in layman's terms that everyone will understand. But yeah, they're probably my first two things. I mean, I can get more specific than that. But
thank you for listening to that behind the scenes conversation with Mitch from MBJ Tech. I guess the three main takeaways from this conversation is that cybersecurity is always going to be a present problem, especially in the age of AI. I get to work in the world of AI prompts, and some of the things that are happening right now is insane. And how people hijack your emails is, it just is happening. And so being in the industry, your actual processes need to be more safe and secure than anybody else's in any other industry. So I guess doing what needs to be done from day one is going to be a foundational part of that. I guess the second part of this whole purpose is that it's not, like IT people don't really want to police everything, but they're there for your safety and security. It's also about building peace of mind. So once you get these things in place, especially around your IT systems and cybersecurity, you can hopefully have a little bit of peace of mind so that this is your optimization growth path. Like when you get these things in place, what can you do next? Because you know that you've got some caveats and services around you that can help you grow the way you want to. Ultimately, once that's all set up properly, it means that you can now move through and build out CRMs, build out lead management systems, have marketing processes in place. You can do all the strategic things that help your business grow. I know it is a behind the scenes conversation that I had with Mitch. So if there is anything you do want us to talk about in the next episode, let us know. Of course, subscribe. This is obviously ground zero. I will be actually talking with Charlie in the next episode. He is from Vela Media, and we are talking about paid ads. So, there's going to be a heap more coming. You will be able to follow the episodes along. But if there is a particular topic you do want me to talk about to help you optimize your business, let me know. I'm all for it.